What is up, podcast fam? We are officially back to podcasting. It's been a little bit of a hiatus here, 3 months or so. But as you can see, I'm not alone today. I got a guest. I got my guest, Christopher. How's it going?
How we doing?
Good, man. Good. I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad we got to do this. If anyone knew what was going on behind the scenes today, they would laugh. For those that are getting or listening, this is going to be.
The universe was trying to get us to stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Or persevere.
Ooh, good. Two different perspectives. Yeah. That's interesting that you could take that either way.
Always.
And I feel like more than likely people avert to the other, the first one we mentioned of like, just, I guess I shouldn't do that.
Like everything has a little resistance. I think the beginning resistance, you shouldn't be as discouraged by.
Yeah, 100%. Can you get a little closer? I can already tell it's like not picking up just because it's we're having so many technical difficulties today. This is going to be part one of part two here. We're in a new studio, as you guys can see. I've some may or may not know, I've moved out to Denver. Big move. We have had no podcasts since then, so it's been about 2 months or so.
Wow.
Of recording. We haven't recorded anything. But anyways, we're here now. We're testing the studio. You get to be the first test dummy in the studio.
Sweet.
That is so far not giving us good vibes. But like you said, we persevere. We're doing it anyways. Part one. What has brought you out here? Just out of curiosity, because I know we actually scratch that question completely. Let's dive into this. I want to know more about you in this first half, because we have just become really acquainted in the last couple of days. We have known each other for some time.
A couple years, haven't really dug deep.
Not really dug deep.
Yeah.
And we actually hung out for about 4 or 5, 6 hours the other day and really got to just vibe, catch the mountains, catch the sunset, and hang. So let's dive into a little bit more about you, a little bit about your life. Let's go from there.
I'm going to answer this question with a question.
Oh, I love that. Let's do it.
Because I think it's so interesting how we can meet people come into our lives, and in some aspects we jive with them, we vibe with them right away, but we might not know anything about them.
Yeah.
So I actually would be really curious, like, who did you think I was prior to all this? Because like we only see so many things, right? Like whatever I share on social
100%
is kind of sometimes the only thing people see, and that can be so surface level, or it could be just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more below it. And that's what I thought was so beautiful about when we had lunch the other day. I know we had talked about having a podcast, but like in my mind, I'm like, let's just like get to know each other, because we haven't really talked a whole lot.
Correct.
As far as like actually getting into some deep conversations.
100%.
So I would like to know your perception of me before we had lunch, and then maybe your perception and curiosity about who am I, what I'm about, after we spent like 4 or 5 hours together.
Absolutely.
And went and saw that gorgeous sunset up on that. We're in Golden, right?
Yeah, we're near Golden, Colorado.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm going to throw that back at you at some point, but I will answer yours first, because I'm also curious, because it's such an interesting perspective, because I totally agree with that. Before I answer your question on a quick tangent, I totally agree with that. On social media, we have the ability to paint a picture however we want, and you can curate it a certain way if you so be it, or you can show everything. But like at the end of the day, you again, like everyone's social generally looks like they're having a phenomenal great time, and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, meanwhile we're just suffering like the rest of everybody else.
Yeah, literally, exactly. It's funny that going on another tangent. My coworkers, I was talking to them, and like they were like, "Yeah, I got laid off," and then I was like, "Oh, so we all been living the exact same existence, but just not."
We're more similar than different in all of our pain.
100%.
In this life, there's just our version of reality, but like the emotions and the struggles.
Yes.
There's no immunity. No one gets immunity from that.
100%. And I think that goes into everything, that we're way more similar than we are different. Not to go political, but like that same thing. Like I think there's a lot of divisiveness on purpose, because it keeps the main things still going, but that's a side note. Anyways, that's a whole rabbit hole that we don't have time for today. It's going to be a quicker episode than most. But so to answer your question, I met you at Lost Lands in 2022, I believe. And we literally same thing, barely got to know you then. It was just like a couple sets, one
for
day,
like one day, then we were popped back out.
popped out. Then we had the mountain trip, got to know you a little bit better. Or got to, what's funny with that trip too is I didn't get to know you, but I got to observe you on that trip.
Yeah, we were like in orbit with each other.
Correct.
And we were like doing things together, but it was still in that giant group setting.
Yes.
So again, observation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I will say from the get-go, I felt like we had a vibe that was similar energies and similar matches, which is why I would always like comment on your stuff or swipe up, because I was like, we have a very similar aura and maybe view of different things. I think you have a more advanced view just because you've lived a bit longer and you've been through a little bit more things than me, which in a weird sense, I'm like, I could get some wisdom out of, not to like use you for that, but like in a way I'm like, we have the same mindset. We have a lot of the same views. Therefore, he probably has some wisdom that I am not thinking of. And perfect example was you dropped like some dimes just on Thursday,
Yeah.
So my accuracy was right on that. But my perception of you was like, I was like, this is a guy who is a cowboy,
Cowboy
nomad guy that just is free flowing through life. Not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, of course not.
I didn't know what you did for work at all, but I would see tidbits of you building different structures and architectural things. So, I saw that, but I had no idea what you had did for work or what you were doing for work. And I just saw your stories and posts of you being around the country. And I figured you were doing kind of that nomad lifestyle working, but I had no idea what it was. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
And what's funny too is I remember asking Amar one time, like, what does Cowboy do?
He was probably like, I don't even know what Cowboy does.
That's literally what he said. He was like, oh, Cowboy just does Cowboy. Like that was the term, which is awesome because you, again, whether you want that painted picture of you or not, it is there. And I mean, I don't know about you. Maybe we are similar in this because again, I picking up on things that were similar. You probably like a little bit of mystery there. Maybe.
Yes and no. I definitely think that some things I hold really tight to my chest.
Yeah.
But also in a world where I see so many people hiding, I always want to be as open and authentic as possible. And if that means I have to be vulnerable and share my wounds, share my traumas, share where I'm at if I'm not having an emotionally great day, like I'm going to do that because if I wear it like armor, for one, you can't hurt me with it. You just can't. You just can't hurt me. Like throw whatever you want at me. I'm going to own it. And I want people to see that they have the permission to live their life as they want, as authentically as they want, and you don't need to hide from anything.
Yeah.
It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to float between masculine and feminine. It's okay if you don't want to share anything, but also I think it's very liberating for us to share. It's again, we're all in this together, right? Like we rise and fall with the tide. And if you think about energy, when it's like held captive, it can get stagnant or it can get kind of chaotic. And I think energy, spirit, breath work, everything is supposed to flow. So you gotta let it flow. You can't let it just stay inside you. And whether that's you just go journal or you go talk to yourself, you go look yourself in the mirror, maybe you just talk to a best friend, or you want to put it out for the whole world to see, like whatever. As long as you're expressing yourself and being authentic, like I think that's a beautiful thing. And for me, someone who had hid himself for a very long time in life, I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
And like, I think all realms of life, emotions is beautiful. And I'm going to share all of it because I know, like we said earlier, we're more the same than we are different. So someone that may receive me online, they might not go out in public and share what I share, but I guarantee when I share it, it's going to resonate with them because they feel it. And who knows what spark that may turn into a flame and what growth that could inspire.
Right.
And, you always hear that phrase, if you can just change one life, it's a good life. 100%. But I want to change every fucking person's life that I meet. Every person I come in contact with, I want you to know that you're special, you're amazing, you have a gift that is particular to you, and never hide it, never dim your light for anyone. But understand that the brighter your light is, the darker the shadow you're going to cast. And there are going to be people that are going to come out and they're going to try to chop your legs off. They're going to try to attack you. You might have friends that see you growing and that makes them uncomfortable because they're not growing. They're going to try to pull you down. Who cares? Don't worry about it. Keep your eyes, keep your focus on your race, run your race. And if it's on your heart, man, speak it. And so I always try to practice that in everything that I do and be as open and authentic as I possibly can. You know.
And I do want to clarify when I meant that you have a little bit of mystery that you like. I did not mean in that category. I meant on like, and I should have clarified beforehand. That was beautiful what you just said too.
Wait, let me just go on a 15-minute tangent.
No, I love it. I was not gonna let you stop. I was gonna let him keep going. But the mystery part, as in like that aspect of social media that we were just talking about, you don't have to show everything. You want to show what you want to show. And just like with my stuff on social, I don't show a lot of my private life. I show going to festivals. I show going on trips. I show the things I enjoy. But I don't show you the family dinner. I don't show you the dinner with friends. Like, you know, I keep that very behind the curtain, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, some things we do have to protect. Some things, when something is special, sometimes you do have to keep it close to your heart.
Yeah,
to keep it special.
100%.
Some things should be earned. Some aspects of our lives, of our heart, of our construct of everyday life, we should keep to ourselves because it's very intimate. That's okay.
Yeah, and I love that aspect of social that it's like I can show you. It's a beautiful thing of it. Again, you got to everyone should look at everything with a grain of salt, but it's like I can show you exactly what I want to show you and nothing else. I mean, like Gary Vee has a perfect thing where he's like, no one knows my family. Like I talk about them, but like I don't post them, you know anything about my marriage, like, you know, like that stuff. And like, rightfully so.
I could probably post a little less, but like, it's who I am. So I don't care, you know, like this is the life I want to live and I love sharing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very proud of the man I've become and the love I have around me and the blessings that have followed and ensued in my life. And if you want to watch, sweet. If you don't, sweet.
Yeah, I'm still going to put it out. Right. And that's another thing too. I've always struggled with on social, and it may come across or it may not, but like the authenticity part of things. And what I've struggled with is like in this world, they want you to niche down to one thing to really grow. And that's how you grow a following. And that is the way to do it, the quickest way possible, to be like completely fair and honest. But like every time I go to try to do that, I'll hit a wall at like 3 months because I'm like, you know, I really don't just want to post EDM stuff. Like I love these conversations that I can have with friends and people and have them come in and talk about their life and what they've done. And what
Life's
they've
a
learned.
spectrum, right? Like if I'm only sharing the color orange, it's like, yeah, you can do that. Orange is a dope color, but like a lot of the colors out there. It's a huge spectrum, you know? And I definitely can understand the niching because it makes you predictable and it lets people understand, okay, this is what you're about. So I know if I want to come to you, this is where I'm going to get. Yeah. So there is a beauty to that.
Of course.
But also like life is so diverse and there's so much beauty out there in so many different ways. And we all see life in such a different way. We can look at the same thing and have two different experiences.
Yeah, 100%. It was just
like,
nuts to think about.
Yeah. And I think sharing that is really beautiful. It's, you know, my personal, I post mostly on Instagram. A lot of people will hate on me because I share so much and they think that I'm doing it for followers or for attention. But my platform for me is like my life journal.
Yeah.
And one day, you know, God willing, I make it to be a super old man. I'm really OCD about like when I post things, it's in chronological order. And so if I have a post I want to do, but I'm not ready to post it yet, I will push everything back for months until I post that one. Because I want it to be a sequential order. Because one day I want to be able to look at my page and I want it to be like my life's journal. You know, if I am blessed to have children one day or get married, like I want this to be a testimony of my life and what I've grown through and what I've, you know, risen above and how I've changed in life. You know, the only consistency in life is change.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about for me. It may look like it's for others, but it's truly a documentation of my life and what I've done and who I've become. And I'm very proud of that person.
That's what I've thought about with like YouTube and how that is literally will be there forever. I mean, Instagram and stuff, I think they have things to like get rid of accounts.
They say you can get rid of
yeah.
it, but I mean, Snowden, it's all there. It's there
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, but I think the beauty of like like the YouTube page and putting out like the vlogs of like us going to festivals and stuff is like if I really want to go relive like, oh man, 2019, that was such a great year, I just go watch it. Like, and from my perspective too, which is so cool. And then I've had friends say that to me. They're like, dude, I go back and watch them like every like couple months. I'm like, and I love it. I get to see myself and all of us having fun. I'm like, cool, that's perfect. Like, that's exactly what I want. I would love for my friends when they're 50 years old to be like, do you want to see what me and my friends used to do?
Yeah.
And then they go to my page and there it is.
It's like beautiful and scary, you know?
Yeah, it's a little scary. I mean, I try not to highlight the worst things that go on in those events and stuff, but like, absolutely, I think it is beautiful that we can put that out and we can put out the things we like and put it in chronological order and have that journal. It's absolutely amazing to do that. With going back to the perception of things, what was your perception of me? I'm curious.
So I honestly have developed a pretty good habit of not trying to paint a picture before I know, I guess, all my colors or the palette I'm working with.
100%.
And I really like to just take people as they are and not try to dive too much in. Meeting you at a music festival, I obviously like, okay, we like the same music. Instantly, you were very soft energy, very grounding energy. I could tell just by your smile, like you're just a really nice guy, and like that was enough for me, and I knew that you were very like easygoing, but also I could tell that there was some kind of energy in you that I could see was kind of trying to burst out and like gonna do something, but it felt a little bit like you were in this like percolation stage, this kind of like I'm in the oven still, and so I kind of left it at that and just enjoyed you for the positivity you're always bringing on your posts, the nice things we'd share back and forth and we'd message. Again, like going back to that, like the mountain players trip, we kind of were a little bit closer in orbit.
Yes.
And I could see, how you interact with other people. If you like going out on hikes, how we went to the Millennium trilogy show. Yes. That was sweet. Unfortunately, we were in two different areas.
Yeah.
I was super stoked to like rock out in that way with you, but we went to two different spots. But even just like Millennium, for example, Millennium fans are very unique people.
Yeah.
And they're one of the most loving, like I've never met fans like those who go and watch Millennium. Like I swear to God, every one of them are like brothers and sisters. Let me tell you a story actually quick about Millennium.
Let's do it.
And this might actually encapsulate what I'm trying to explain. So my first festival ever I went to was like 4 years ago. Amar took me to the festival.
Okay.
It was Millennium at Ember Shores.
That's a crazy first festival. Amazing.
Yeah, and like, of course, we had like sexy ass cabina, like not like GA and like a tent and like a rainy field 20 miles away. Like it was like chic as hell,
Yeah.
So I got spoiled right away. And Millennium is playing this set. The stage is on the beach. You have the resort on your right and the ocean on your left. It's just absolutely magical. And so I believe this was Saturday. And he like came out, started his set. Maybe it was 2 or 3 songs in, and he just turned on this banger and went so hard he blew the entire system and just went quiet. The second it went quiet, every single person at that festival, without missing a beat, started singing his song. And they didn't stop singing it until he got his rig and the power back online to where he could start playing again. And I was just like, this is different. Everybody, except for me, because I was like, who is this guy? I don't know any of these songs. And like people are like arm in arm, and not just with like 5 group of friends. I mean, it was like rows of people. Everyone just locked up and just kept singing the song until they came back online. And that was very special to me. So like being able to then go and share that concert with you, even though we were in 2 different spots, it just gave me an idea of who you were as well, and what you're into and what your values and morals are, and just general assumptions I made.
Right.
But I didn't really know. But I knew you had a good heart. I knew you were a kind man, and that I truly believe that you want to do something special in this world, and you know what that is for yourself, and you are going after it. And that's commendable. That's what we all should strive to do. And so I was really excited to get out here. And you had like talked to me a couple times about coming on here and doing the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, because like we need to get to know each other more. And also like what an honor that you'd want me to come on here and talk. Like, who am I? You know, like I'm just in the masses. But
well, like I said,
sweet,
when I'm observing you at the cabin and stuff, and you same thing, very kind, very gentle, and very like again, just like you did at the car, like dropping profound things. Maybe you don't even think they're profound, but like they might just hit somebody in a profound way. And for me, again, sometimes you would say something and be like, it's pretty profound. Yeah. But like the way you just go about that, like gentleness and kindness, is those are the people I want in my life. That's how I act. I think it's better to be, I think we kind of talked about this the other day. Like it's better to be calm and gentle first and never show that dark side. We all have it, but like if it comes out, it comes out. But ideally you want to live gentle and calm 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And you never want to bring that out unless you have to.
If there's anger and vengeance in you, there's no room for love.
Right.
You know, and if you have a bunch of love in you, there's not going to be room for anger and vengeance, you know, but we are human. Everything is yin and yang and balance. And it's okay to feel those things because we are human, but it's just like, am I in control? You know, can I have space between my feelings and my thoughts and this soul that is controlling this meat suit of mine, this human experience? Because all feelings are valid, all emotions are valid, but we need to have a sense of autonomy, a self-governing system that is like, okay, I need to pause and step back. I don't need to lash out and react. And when it comes down to it, I mean, it's just like in like Deathly Hallows when like Harry Potter is talking to his godfather, right? Oh my God, what's his name? Anyone who's a Harry Potter fan, I apologize. I can't think of that because I love these movies. But, you know, Harry's having this existential crisis about like, what if there's something wrong with me? What if I'm broken?
Right.
What if I'm evil? And his godfather is like, you're not a bad person. Bad things have happened to you. And there's good and bad in all of us. It's the choices we make.
Right.
It's the wolf we choose to feed.
100%.
We all have two hungry wolves in us. And every day they're both begging for scraps. Which one are you going to feed?
Yeah.
And to get to a place in life, and usually this comes from, it can be inherently just as you are, but also people who have experienced a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, will say either two things. I am going to translate this onto somebody else. Hurt people, sometimes, not always. Or they're going to say never again to nobody else.
Right.
And I'm going to choose to be good. I'm going to choose to be a warrior. I'm going to be a protector. And when it comes down to life, it's all just choices and consequences. And you're choosing to spread love. And that's a beautiful thing. And light recognizes light, but there can't be light without darkness.
That's true, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is
it unfortunate though? Because sometimes the darkness needs to come out. Sometimes when you protect something, you know, for example, I'll go on another tangent. I was working a festival, Oktoberfest, a couple weeks ago here in Denver. And I don't engage in violence too often because it's just, it's a zero-sum game, dude. It's lose-lose.
Right.
You know, the last fight I got into was probably like when I was like 26 or 28, and I was defending myself. Got knocked up pretty good, did some knocking myself, I'm a big dude. And afterwards, I felt like a complete idiot.
Right.
You know, even though I defended myself and I came out on top, I felt like a piece of shit still. Plus, I had a fucking gash in my eye, you know, like my hands were all hurt, you know, and like I had to do what I had to do. But at the end of it, I wasn't prideful. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel victorious. It's never good to hurt another human. So anyways, there are these four dudes just going to town on this guy. Just 4 against 1. My man's getting turned up. And within like a split second, I'm just like, okay, if it's 1v1, like maybe I'll go over there and just be like, hey guys, break it up. But it's nighttime, it's 4v1. And I'm like, fuck this. You know, I was bullied my entire life growing up. People were constantly picking fights with me. And I'm like, no, not on my watch. And I went big dog status and went over there and just started throwing guys off of this dude and just using my body, my wingspan to just keep people at bay, using my loud, big tone voice, just being like, we're done. Like, this is enough. And thankfully, I didn't have to throw any punches. I didn't want to. I was just trying to disseminate a situation, pulled guys off. I was like, hey, you guys made your point. Like, we're done here. And I was able to diffuse the situation, get these guys to walk away, help this gentleman up. And he was messed up, you know? So sometimes you have to have that darkness in you. Sometimes that wolf does need to come out. And when it comes out, he needs to make his point. And by doing so, you can stop, deter, or minimize future violence in a controlled manner, right? Like I say, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Right.
And so, although, yes, to your point of, you know, that's bad, or not wanting that evil or dark side of us, there does come a time point when you still need to be capable of protecting.
In a sense, there's a quote from a movie of like using that darkness for good in a sense. And that's, I do 100% agree with that. It's definitely, yes, if you can use your darkness for good when it's needed and it's called for, 100%, that's the way to go. I totally agree. We're coming up on our time here. I hate to cut us off because we're in such a great.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We had that technical difficulties, so like we're just getting into it, but I figured it'd be a two-parter anyways.
It's definitely gonna be a two-parter.
I've only done one other podcast, and it was like, I mean, as you can tell, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we'll have a nice.
And we'll go as deep and as authentic as you want to with this. I will always wear my life and my trauma and my victories on my sleeve, because I know I'm not this unique person who has gone through. Everybody struggles. 100%. No one gets immunity in this life. So I think it's important that everyone sees that. And hopefully, as we discuss further, I tell a little bit more about my story, that those of you out there that are confused, that don't know where to start, that don't know what your purpose is, that have been terribly hurt, that have had trauma, that have been treated terribly, people haven't shown up for you, that you can show up for yourself, and you can lean on those that love you, and you can feel a little bit less alone in this world. Because as corny as it sounds, and as much as I have to feed this to myself as well, we are all special, and we're not. We're all the same too. But like my point is this world, no matter how many followers or friends you have, can be really fucking lonely.
Yes.
And but you're not alone. And you truly can do anything you want in this world, and you can become whoever you want in this world. It's just choice. And I can't wait to share more about that.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about that. One thing about this podcast I love, and having it, whether it reaches a big audience or not, I enjoy just the conversations and the deep down part. And if it can affect one person's day and make them better, or they hear something profound to where it changes their mindset and they go forward with something brand new, that's all that this podcast is meant for. That's what I love about it. And you don't get these nuanced, long conversations by a short clip on Instagram. And that's what's beautiful, is that like on Instagram and TikTok, I can put out whatever content I want. But then if you come here, you like that content, you come here, you get a whole nother side of me and the people that I enjoy hanging out with, and getting to know them more and getting to know me more. It's way more elaborate, and you get to know like, wow, this is a little more profound than just festivals and travel and sports. So I love that. I'm excited for us to dive deep into part 2. This was a quick, I know, quick and easy little get to know us real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Part 1. Yeah, really, for real. But thank you so much for this today. Absolutely. Again, sorry with the technical difficulties. Appreciate your patience with all that. Always. And still hanging around. So without further ado, everyone, enjoy this episode. Part 2 will be out next. Peace.